All right. We're rocking and rolling.
Episode 3.
Episode 3, Lost. Tabula Rasa.
Rasa.
Okay, the best part about the episode, honestly.
Oh, I will say that, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say the best part about the episode is it's the first time we get to hear previously on Lost.
I was going to, I'm loving this guy because that was what I had that in my notes. First, previously in Lost, and the things that get recapped for us are the lock and vault. One side is light, one side is dark, and the...
You know, they've gotten to a point of like, there's certain people that know there's a monster, but they don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And then there's other people that don't know.
Well, everybody kind of knows. They were all at the beach.
Yeah, they know when they're at the beach. There's sounds, you know, the roller coaster sounds and whatnot, but they didn't see it get ripped out. You know, the pilot get ripped out like Jack and
Right.
And everybody keeps saying like the haunted forest and things like that, but I wanted to throw the question out to you guys because you guys watched the show you especially watched the show as it was happening. What were your first, I guess, theories or impressions or whatever about this monster? About where is this going? Did you have any at this point? Maybe you're watching episode 3, because I'm just like, whoa, like transfixed, like this is
So
crazy.
funnily enough, I wasn't like watching, I wasn't all about sci-fi at the time. So when it happened, like I realized it was like a sci-fi thing, but I was like, well, is this going to be like an alien thing, a spiritual thing? Like, so it was, I didn't know. So I just knew that it was what later became known as the mystery box concept.
Yes, the here's a box. What's in the box?
There's an island. It just appeared. Like it drew some people here. Like
and the big hook of the first season hasn't even happened yet, and doesn't even happen for another handful of episodes.
Little J.J. Abrams.
There's a hatch, and they spend the whole season trying to open it, and then they open it. Well, what's inside? I don't know.
I also remember thinking like, because the name of the episode.
Tabula Rasa?
Yeah. Meaning clean slate in Latin. Like, so I was like, all right, there's some ancient stuff going on. So is this going to be time travel? Like immediately it was all this weird. Yeah. When they say that they're like over 1,000 miles off course, I remember a lot of people being like, well, how could they get that far off course? And I was like, well, if you're in a car and you're just turning around, like if you're in a truck, it's a longer time and distance. Like, so the size of the vehicle is going to make a difference. Like there's all these things that could put you that far off course by turning around in an airplane.
I would agree with that statement. So this is the first time that we get nicknames from Sawyer.
Yeah.
We get Freckles.
Freckles for the first time. But what did he just call Saeed?
But then we got Abdul for Saeed.
So if we recall, going back to our last podcast, I brought up how like the stereotypes were very abundant in the characters. And I did say in our last podcast, I was like, it feels to me like Sawyer gets a lot less racist immediately after the pilot. And the first line he calls Saeed Abdul.
One of his first nicknames.
And I was like, oh, all right.
Hurley calls him something in one of these episodes too.
But if you notice, when he says Abdul to Saeed just kind of accepts it.
I think he just kind of is like, look, there's no saving this guy. This guy's lost.
Yeah, that's totally what that looks.
You know, like
no cell.
And also like
the no cell.
It's the no cell. It's the no cell. Well, you know what? It's the no cell, but it's also like Saeed could also end Sawyer with his bare hands if he wanted to.
Yeah.
So he's just like, this is not worth it. You know?
Well, and it's all of that, and it's I respect him for just being him. Like I know where I stand with him. You know what I mean?
I don't know if I would look at it as like a respect thing, but more of just like an acceptance, I guess, of it. Just like, you know, like I guess it's just who he is. And like, I feel like, because at this point, they're still hoping to be off the island soon, any minute, hopefully.
Here's the thing is, I think they use this line maybe in this or maybe whatever, but the devil's gonna try to convince you he's nice.
Yeah.
Sawyer doesn't.
No.
He's him.
No, he's him.
And like,
We also got to
you
remember.
can respect that, like, as a person, like, even if you don't like who that person is.
He also shot a polar bear in front of him too, so.
Yeah, this is true.
He did shoot a polar bear, but we're also
Well, I didn't lie.
during the moment where Sawyer and those people know that there's been the transmission.
Yeah, for 16 years.
Yeah.
For 16 years. So, yes, there's the lot of people that feel like they are going to get off the island, but then there's the group that are like,
Well,
Right.
and that,
there's been a transmission on loop for 16 years.
and that's kind of the other part of it too, is that I think in Saeed's mind, he's got, and we figure out more in these episodes about Saeed a little bit, and I think with the comment, the Abdul comment, I think Saeed's also probably just like, we got bigger problems. We got bigger problems than this guy making a comment to me. And it's just clear, like, it's kind of cool. They start the episode with the hope low.
It's funny, like, they're on a little camping.
So this is also, I believe, the first time where people make a pact to lie about what they've seen on this island. And obviously in the future, are there 6 of them here? There's 6 of them, right? There's Kate, Sawyer, Saeed, Boone, Shannon, Charlie. 6.
Yeah.
Oceanic 6, right? And they decide they're gonna lie. I love this scene real quick, if I could have you pause it real quick. So Jack and Hurley are talking about dinosaurs because Jack heard something and saw something in the jungle, and so Hurley's like, was it a dinosaur? Jack goes, it's not a dinosaur. And Hurley goes, well, if you didn't see it, how did you know it was a dinosaur? And then Jack gets really annoyed and he just goes, because dinosaurs are extinct. And what this does for me is obviously the gimmick. I'm not a Jack Shepherd fan. This little conversation between him and Hurley does a great job of setting up Jack's character for the rest of the season and the whole series to me, because Jack is always portrayed as the scientific guy, the logical guy. And so when he immediately just goes, because dinosaurs are extinct, Hurley, like, how could you be thinking about dinosaurs? And obviously in the next episode, Jack's gonna start, he's gonna start seeing some stuff, but it just sets up who Jack is. He's always like the logical one, like, how, oh, you really, come on, you really think that there's a dinosaur in that jungle, Hurley? Come on. And Hurley's like, well, why wouldn't I think there's a dinosaur in the jungle? So Hurley becomes the second person after Jack, and we think Sawyer, to find out about Kate. And Hurley kind of takes it a different way, and I think the reason why is because Hurley is not in love with Kate. Jack already is. And so Jack kind of takes it in a way of, and as you know, and we've talked about, Jack from the get-go, right from the first time he meets her, is very possessive of Kate. Hurley doesn't really have that. Hurley's kind of like, let's keep this bitch away from me, you know, because it's just crazy, you know. And the fact that the marshal says she's dangerous, and the fact that we don't know what Kate has done yet, I think that it kind of adds to George's point of being the audience, of Hurley being the audience, because even though Jack is kind of brushing it off like, whatever, she's still my girl, right? Hurley is kind of like, oh, well, now you're telling me I'm on this haunted island with a dinosaur in the jungle, and you're telling me that this girl that seems really cute and pretty and sweet is actually a dangerous fugitive. I think that does a great job, and I think Hurley was a great choice to have as the next person that finds out about Kate.
Yeah, I think it's deeper than that though too, and maybe we don't know it all yet, but like, you can obviously tell something's gone on in Jack's history, that he's probably, I think it's all of what you said, but I think there's also a side of him seeing his own struggles there in his past, and also realizing, yeah, we're on a fucking island, Hurley. Like, none of this matters right now.
That's fair. I mean, so I'm actually gonna push back at that a little bit. But not right now. I'm gonna push back on it later when we've,
you know,
get to a certain scene.
Hurley looks at Kate at this point as kind of like an authority figure.
Yeah, she's been more, I would argue, more cemented as a leader than Jack has.
She's a leader, you know what I mean? So for him, it's like, you know, he looked at her as a trusting figure. They all did.
Hurley is the audience.
Yeah.
What do you think she did?
Yeah.
And so, the one thing I did want to say about this, right? Something that this scene does a really good job of, to me, is set up the seriousness of what Kate did. Because so far, remember, we talked about the whole subverting the expectations. Kate is very cute, very girl next door. She's meant to be cool. And so I think, had we only seen the mugshot, I don't think we would be going, maybe she's this, right? But the fact that Hurley is so concerned, and the fact that they had the scene of the marshal going, she's dangerous, she's dangerous, she's dangerous, does a great job of setting up like, okay, wait a second, what did she do? Because it seems like, you know, I think if that hadn't happened, we wouldn't be looking at Kate as a dangerous fugitive. We'd just be looking at her as like, oh, maybe she did, I don't know, tax fraud or something.
Yeah, it could have been anything.
Yeah,
but
what
little key.
Yeah.
The way he acted was just odd, though, too. Like, he was so into the guy chasing her.
That was my line of the episode right there.
He goes on marches.
He doesn't even believe in guns. He goes on marches. That was the best line of the episode for me. And Boone is kind of set up, we talked a little bit about like the social and political aspects of the show. Boone is kind of set up as your like quintessential, like, I guess, douchey liberal guy that's always trying to like have a cause, but he's actually being selfish at the same time. So I think it's consistent. But so everybody decides that Kate is like the most sensible person to have the gun. I think that kind of comes from the fact that Saeed trusts her, because we're kind of meant to trust Saeed, but also going back to the aspects of like, literally a few hours ago, they were accusing this guy of blowing up the plane. I think that's why they don't give Saeed the gun. I think there's still a little bit of that inherent suspicion.
Sure.
And which, again, it's a good way of doing the show. And now we get our first actual flashback scene.
Yes, we do.
You're sleeping in my sheet.
That's a good line too. You're sleeping in my sheep pen.
Something about the flashbacks is each person's flashback gives you a different genre of television.
Yes, there's crime. There's like crime drama. There's medical drama. There's foreign drama with Jin and Sun. There's the rock star with Saeed. There's the war with Saeed.
Yeah.
It's really, really good.
Hers is kind of like The Fugitive.
In general.
Yeah, always on the run. Next episode, how's she getting away again?
And it's like a different scenario every time for her.
Yeah.
So this is obviously a Kate episode.
This is a Kate episode. And I would actually argue that the pilot was kind of a Kate episode too. She was definitely, especially in the first part of the pilot, she was meant to be like the main character. And I think up to this point in the show, she still is. But right off the bat, she tells a story about, she said, I went through college, and then I hopped a flight to Melbourne because I wanted to see the world. Right off the bat, we don't believe her. The audience I'm talking with, we don't believe her. I don't think our guy here does either. I just think it's the fact that, again, she's cute and she's charming, and so we kind of want to believe her. We want to be on her side here.
He's like, you know how to work a farm?
Yes.
My wife just kicked the bucket.
Yes. And so what this does, in a very similar way to the earlier episode, what it kind of does is it gives us, in the flashback, even though at this point, all we know about Kate, really, all we really know is that she's a dangerous fugitive. But what this does is it gives us sympathy for her by proxy, because it sets up an older man, his wife died.
How long ago did his wife die?
What did he say? Go back and hear it.
Oh, I don't think it said just recently.
No, he says it.
Does he say?
Yeah.
Go back and learn it all.
Important.
8 months.
8 months ago. Or 8.
Yeah.
What I wanted to say about the Kate character is that even though all we really know for sure about her is that she's a dangerous fugitive right now, we are still meant to have sympathy for her immediately in this episode, because she is now going to work on this farm with this man whose wife just passed away. So we're going to have sympathy for him there. He's missing one of his arms. We're going to have sympathy for him there. So it really still sets up, I'm going to use another wrestling word, it still sets up Kate as a babyface. Because,
Sure.
Because even though we know she's lying, but she's cute and she's charming and it's working, and so we still root for her because of her ability and want to help people.
I mean, she isn't coming across at all in the episode or in any of the other episodes as a villain.
No.
At all.
Not at all.
So that's another thing that leans into that sympathy that we already have. Like, what's up with her? Maybe, like, what is the full extent of her story? And we're engaged now because we're starting to see it. We're like, okay, what happened?
Mm-hmm. So this is, like, I believe, the first time someone gives, like, a big speech to the whole group. Most of these people in this group, we don't even know, because they're not going to make it very much farther.
And I was also thinking this is like they're setting up their government.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with Saeed as the guy that's leading it, as our friend Mr. Locke.
It's the general counsel.
I always found it funny that he was the communications guy, but yet he's in charge of water.
That's a good point. Well, the whole water, food, scavenging thing doesn't ever really come up again after this. Like, because in the next episode, it immediately says that they don't have any food left. So whoever was rationing the food did a horrible job. So right here, Kate says, I need to tell you something, and Jack's ready for her to tell.
I'm a fugitive.
But here's the thing, and here's the worst thing that Jack Shepherd does in this episode. Jack still, for some reason, feels entitled to know everything about Kate. He's still, like, you said the thing earlier about, we're on the island, it doesn't matter anymore. But he still feels like he's entitled, like she owes him something, like she needs to tell him. So look at his face right now. Even though she's telling him about the distress signal that's been going on for 16 years, he won't look her in the eye because he knows her secret. And he's like, well, why are you telling me about this? You should be telling me about your other thing, you know? And that's the worst thing that Jack Shepherd does in episode 3.
But he trusts her. He allowed her to.
I don't think he trusts her, and we're gonna find out later.
Who showed him up?
She showed him up because he wanted her. So
because he trusted her to do so.
And he opened up to her.
Yeah. He
But
felt the vibe.
Right, and now he's upset because she didn't open back up.
But he's not entitled to her opening up. They've known each other for 2.5 days.
But they're gonna be there forever.
They don't know that yet. This whole scene, he won't look her in the eye, which is a really good bit of acting by Michael J. Fox.
That is not Michael J. Fox.
What did I call him? Michael J. Fox. Matthew Fox.
I don't know. This is not Back to the Future.
See, he's bullshitting her.
Well, yeah.
And it does become a consistent thing with Jack's character throughout the series is he's not looking people in the eye a lot.
He doesn't have the best poker face.
Well, here's the other thing too. Do you think that maybe at this point, like, he's also realizing, like, I thought she was like me.
Maybe
she's not.
I think what it is more of he thought she was this cute, sweet girl next door, and now he realizes that she's not.
Right, and I think he perceives himself as like the savior next door as the guy.
Oh, that's his thing.
And then I also think we also know that Sawyer we don't know what Sawyer's done up to this point.
Nothing about it.
But we know he's a bad guy.
We just know that he killed a polar bear and that he likes to steal.
Right, he likes to steal, he likes to hoard stuff, he won't feel like sharing with anybody, like it's every person for themselves. Kate is both of them wrapped up in one.
Yes. It's a really long scene. His Jack's face.
Face is great. I love it. He's just like,
and it's cut to Hurley again helping Jack.
And so this is Hurley is the audience, right? And so Hurley is asking Jack what Kate told him. And Jack's like, he's saying this to Hurley about, I don't know. Well, she doesn't have to tell me. But that's completely different than the body language he was just exhibiting in this season.
Right, and he's also trying to get Jack to think out loud for us. Like, so what do you think? What do you think she's like this? What did she do? Why is she not telling you? I think one of the reasons I love the show so much at the time too was that everybody had nicknames for each other. Yeah. And that's a lot like bartending or working in a bar.
I mean, it is very communal, especially with like the beach camp side stories and stuff.
But we had so many people, you'd just be like, the guy that comes in there, Suitcase Boy. Who? We had a guy that we called Suitcase Boy because when he walked, it looked like he was carrying 2 suitcases.
Gotcha.
Like, and then there was, so just the way they use nicknames is hilarious to me.
Another thing too is that they all moved to the island and they all kind of lived on this island while filming this show. So like they probably became like a pseudo family.
They did, and
watch it in the behind the scenes.
Like Josh Holloway actually called Evangeline Lily Freckles.
Yeah.
Off camera too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think that's where a lot of it comes from. And it also shows you who the main characters are because they're the ones that are giving everybody else the nicknames.
Yeah. Well, you're also on there. Your alpha. You're pulling some alpha cards when you pull out some good one-liners like that.
And Sawyer and Jack love
everybody,
pulling their one-liners.
You know, if you watch the behind the scenes of this episode specifically, Sawyer talks about how, behind the scenes of the pilot leading into this episode. He originally, when he first got on set, didn't use his southern accent. He was using like
Yeah.
from Buffalo or wherever Sawyer was supposed to be from originally, and or Boston or Buffalo or whatever, and then there was a moment where J.J. Abrams was like, "Hey man, why don't you just like talk how you talk?"
They was like, "Why are you talking like that?" And he's like, "Well, because I'm supposed to
didn't know
be
that
from."
actually, and Sawyer being anything besides like the redneck,
Yeah,
it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, and that was obviously something JJ heard, and he was like, you know what, let's
So
do that.
I wonder
And
with
Raz
that.
probably rolls into that.
So with that, I wonder, because I pointed this out in the last episode. Saeed and Charlie's accents, they're a lot. It's a lot less. It's a lot less of the thick British accent. It's a lot less of the thick Arabic accent. And so I wonder if that was their directive from J.J. Abrams to be like, because Saeed, I forget the guy's name that plays
Naveen Andrews.
He's British, I believe.
Yeah.
In real life, and so he has like a British Arabic,
Very British.
Yeah.
He's got like a very like
British Arabic accent.
like
But
British though.
for the purposes of the show, it's got to be a American Arabic accent.
Yeah.
And so he tones it down from the pilot to this, and I wonder if that was his doing or if that was from J.J. Abrams. And the same thing with Charlie, because he goes from the thick, really heavy British accent to more of like his voice is a little bit more high pitched, and he's just I don't know if it's like a.
It's me, Charlie.
Yeah, exactly.
You're all dead. Very good, Hurley.
Something I like about this episode a lot is that in the background of scenes, you often just see like people scavenging for luggage, looking for food, things like that. It just kind of sets the scene a lot. And so this is our first time inside of the fuselage with Jack going through things. And something that comes up between him and our pal Sawyer here, I believe this is the first scene where they ever actually talk to each other. And again, it's such a good scene. It's setting up the overall dynamic where Jack's coming in to find medicine to hopefully help people, right? Sawyer's very already like, hey, I know about the polar bear. I know about the distress signal. I know about everything like this. I just want to survive. So he's looking for food. He's taking people's belongings, things like that. And so
Sawyer been ravaging that plane probably since they got there, like that.
Yeah.
You know, he just goes in and sneaks in when he gets a chance.
But he almost chastises Jack for looking for medicine for a sick man.
Right.
Because he's, in Sawyer's mind, that guy's already dead. We're not dead. We need that medicine more than he does. But you can also like, in a way, neither of them is wrong. Sawyer is kind of right. Like, you're on the island, it doesn't matter anymore. We keep talking about that. Like, your problems from before don't matter anymore. Sawyer needs to find the things that are going to keep him alive. Jack's the doctor. He's going to try to find the things that are going to keep others alive. And that just shows their character. And also, we get a first little inkling, I'm in the wild. That's, I think, to me, that's the Lord of the Flies reference. I don't know if you guys have read Lord of the Flies. It's the first inkling that Sawyer is a very well-read man. Even though he might seem like your stupid redneck hick, he is a very well-read man.
You keep saying redneck, and then you said stupid redneck hick, but even with his accent, what I got from him is not... He sounds like he could possibly also be from a rich family.
Okay, so just in terms of the way that he's very like charming and like well spoken in a way that's not like, he's not polite, but he is well spoken.
Yeah, and he knows how to like play the game and how to do what needs to be.
The more we're gonna find out about him, the more we're gonna find out how smart he actually is. It's just used for probably not the right things. This is the first scene right here between Charlie and Claire, which obviously becomes wheelchair. I forgot about the wheelchair.
That's what's hilarious.
Such a good line. That's such a good line. Whoever this is probly better off than we are. Can I pause it real quick? I wanted to say a thing
we
about
eventually
Charlie
find out whose wheelchair that is.
Who's it?
Well, I can't say yet.
Oh, okay. I think it's Waltz.
I'm gonna have to cut it out because I said it.
Pretty sure it's the dogs.
It's the dogs.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to say, that was the first little interaction between Charlie and Claire. And something that's very consistent with Claire's character is that she's constantly having these kind of sweet, cute little interactions to keep the show grounded. Like I said, I really love the character of Claire. She just keeps the show so grounded. She's so sweet. Like it works. And so now we get a little bit more of this kind of like uncomfortable sort of back and forth between Jin and Sun, where he's ordering her around as if he's like her boss. And right here, he does say he loves her. And it's kind of like the first human moment for Jin of this episode. If you remember last episode, he was trying to feed people. In this scene, I want to know what you guys are thinking, because what I'm thinking here is, to me, Hurley's obviously acting off, right? And if you're Kate, and I don't know if it said exactly how long she's been on the run, but she's been on the run long enough to where she's pretty regularly suspicious. And the fact that Hurley's literally running away from her, I think right here she's like, oh, shit.
Oh, she knows right there.
Right.
Yeah.
She's like, he knows.
Yeah.
So I don't know that it's that Kate knows how much Hurley knows, but I would imagine that Kate is thinking he knows everything, because she's probably very paranoid. Right?
You have to,
and deservedly so.
If you have a secret like that and you think somebody knows, you don't think somebody knows a part of it.
You think they know either all or
You
nothing.
have to assume that they know it all.
Yeah. And so I think that was a really good scene. It just kind of shows where Kate's kind of at. And again, Hurley just being the audience, kind of like uncomfortable around Kate. He literally ran away from her.
Great.
And it's funny just seeing the big 300+ pound guy running away from this little woman, but it's another scene of torrential downpour out of nowhere.
This is a crazy.
You're not dumb.
Are we meant to think she's gonna kiss him?
I don't know.
I thought about that when I was watching last night. I think we might be meant to think that she was gonna kiss him, and that maybe the marshal is like her ex-lover or something like that.
The balls you have to find a hidden space like that in somebody else's house.
So something I wanted to say was, when they were all in the jungle earlier, the people that heard the transmission from the French woman, they all made that pact to agree to not tell anybody. But when Kate and the rest of the group get back to camp, the first thing she does is pull Jack aside and tell him. And that becomes a thread throughout the whole series, is even when Kate's supposed to keep secrets, she always tells Jack.
Oh, yeah.
But Jack still thinks he's entitled to every one of her personal secrets.
Right.
I had to bring that up.
No, yeah, that is a common thread throughout the show. She's been stashing her earnings.
So we do eventually find out right here that what's his name? The guy's name?
He's got a really hairy neck.
Mr. McGregor? Oh, come on.
So we actually know from what we get in our next flashback scene that at this point, the farmer knows, and he's going to turn her in.
Yeah.
So he catches her in the middle of the night trying to leave, and he convinces her to stay one more night so he can turn her in.
Yeah.
You brought it up last time. Daddy issues is a huge theme, right? So I don't think it's a coincidence, the fact that it's an older man who could conceivably be her dad that does end up turning her in. And that kind of goes to where she's, you know, where she's looking for Jack Hurley.
She just has trust issues all together.
But it's mostly with older men.
Yeah.
So here's the scene.
Are you skipping when the marshal attacks her?
Did the marshal already attack?
You just skipped
He was
the
just
scene where the
about to.
marshal attacked her.
No.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It was on the lookout.
Yeah, so she's going to
The
get attacked
wiener.
by the marshal,
Oh my god.
and then Jack saves her, and then she tells him to kill the marshal.
That happens a lot with her.
Let's go bring it up. So again, we don't know what she's done, right? But the fact that when the marshal sees her, he immediately starts strangling her, I think that tells us she's done something pretty serious for this guy to want to attack her. And something it sets up right off the bat, Michael Giacchino's score beautifully playing in the background, is that even in this scenario, Jack does save her from the marshal.
Yeah, but what does he say?
What did you do, Kate? Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, in Kate's mind, Jack saved her from the marshal.
Right. But
In
do you
Jack's
see,
mind,
can
he
you,
saved the marshal from Kate.
right. Exactly. So now do you see why he has such a distrust and he wants to keep her close and not let her know what he knows?
I see why he has distrust. I don't see why he thinks that, why he's so possessive over her. And there's more scenes later in this episode where we'll get into.
You need to get into the mind of a heel.
I've been in the mind of a heel.
I know.
So you're admitting Jack's the heel?
I admit that this show, everybody at some point is the heel and
Really?
everybody at some point the baby face.
It's very gray,
Yeah.
I know.
even though it's black and white.
Mm-hmm.
Here, obviously, I think Jack's got the moral high ground, because in this scene, Kate literally tells him, kill the marshal because he's going to suffer. I wanted to know, how much of that do you guys think is Kate just trying to get rid of him, and how much of that do you think is Kate actually being like, I don't want him to suffer? Because in a way, she does have this kind of like respect for the marshal. Remember, she saves his life on the plane.
Yeah.
When he gets hit in the head, she saves him before she saves herself. And so I kind of wondered what you guys thought there about, like, does Kate want him dead so that it helps her, or does she want him dead because it's going to end his suffering?
Yeah, I think that's...
I think it's probably more the second.
I think so too, but at the same time, I do completely understand why Jack's looking at it like she's just trying to get rid of her captor.
Yeah, I can see Jack looking at it that way, but like we saw Hurley's response, so we understand that she knows Hurley knows.
Yeah.
We also understand that she knows Jack
And
knows.
that's why I'm thinking, like, she's probably like...
Is she thinking, now I got to kill everybody? No, because who else should they tell?
Well, of course, but she doesn't... But
that's why I think it's more the...
She also knows that the marshal is the one that's got all of the information of everything she's done. Because even, like, the thing that she got arrested for, it's not the only...
Right, but if... It's not the only thing, but in order for her to get on the plane, like that accident was documented. Like, oh, let's...
Sure.
I see what you're saying, but like...
I think it's a little bit of both, but I agree it's more towards that she doesn't want him to suffer.
Because as soon as they get rescued, somebody's going to be like, oh yeah, by the way, she was...
Well, we figure out, if we can cut this part out, but we do figure out later on that she stole someone's ID to try to, when eventually they got arrested, or not, when they got rescued, she was going to take somebody else's ID. So she was already thinking of, if and when I do get off the island, what am I going to do? And the marshal being dead, whether or not she intended on that to happen, it's not debatable that it helps her. He's so heartbroken, though. He's so heartbroken. Not that she's a murderer, but that she wants him to become one.
And here's where the music first comes into the show. And she's always got Patsy Cline playing for her.
They listen to Patsy Cline in Canada?
And it's great that it goes this scene, and then if this song is playing, and she's trying to run, and she's got leaving on her mind.
I do like that she doesn't ask him, like, what are you doing? She asks, how long have you known?
Mm-hmm.
I got a hell of a mortgage.
So
this doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. And the marshal, he's a character that we don't really find too much more about besides the Kate episodes. He's kind of just like a side character in the Kate story. But I do think it's pretty evident the marshal loves that Kate keeps getting away, because he just loves chasing her.
Daddy's job.
Yeah, but
very road runner.
As much as it's a win for him to get her, to have her on the plane and everything, he's almost like, I feel like he's almost just like, come on, like, you got to keep getting away so I can keep chasing it. You know?
That is a great freeze on Kate's face.
It is. And
it's very disgusted.
She's just so like disgusted to see him. And not in a way that she's like, she knows what she did, so.
The rain just keeps coming at the like most opportune times.
So I like this conversation between Michael and Walt here, because it kind of shows that, we still don't know this, but it kind of shows what the dynamic between Michael and Walt has been during Walt's life.
Right.
We're going to get this line in a second from Walt. Okay, that's a big line. That's a big line. Because now we know what the secret is that Walt got told by Locke. We know it's a miracle happened to him. What are you guys thinking? What are you guys thinking at this point? Because
when you watched it the first time.
Yeah. What are we thinking? Like, what are we thinking about Locke at this point? Because I don't think he's even had a speaking role yet besides that conversation with Walt. And so he's such a mystery, and it's such a well done mystery. So what are we thinking about?
I think at the first watch for me, it was more like, I didn't think too deep about it. It was, the miracle was they're all alive.
That's fair. That's fair. I think that, because that's what Michael says too. Michael says, yeah, man, a miracle happened to all of us. We survived a plane crash.
Yeah.
So that's a really good point by George.
No, yeah, there's not really any.
Because so far we haven't, at this point watching it, we haven't had anything that.
And also, Michael just thinks that Locke is some creepy guy talking to his kid.
Yeah, he thinks he sells bicycles.
Coming across a little bit like that too.
He is a little bit, because the only person he's talked to is Walt. And I think, going back to our pilot episode, I think the reason why Locke took such an interest in Walt right off the bat is because Locke's already made his choice of like, hey, I'm never leaving this place. And he's like, I want to the next generation to experience that. is if I tell Michael that, if I tell Jin that, if I tell Sawyer that, they're not going to believe me. But the 9-year-old kid will believe me because kids are naive and will believe that kind of thing. And I think that's why Locke and Walt developed this.
Oh yeah. The secret, you don't. A miracle is always a secret because nobody. Here's the thing about a miracle. Unless you experience it, there's no miracle.
No.
Like there's
People never believe it.
Yeah. So.
And Michael speaking for the audience there.
Michael speaking for George there.
Yeah.
So right here, you still kind of get this kind of icy dynamic where you're kind of like, this just does not seem like your normal father-son dynamic. And we don't know why yet, but we're going to find it. Something else that I noticed?
I thought maybe he was blaming his dad for his mother's
This
death.
is one of my favorites.
Pause,
He
please.
says, I'm going to get your dog. Hold on.
Yeah, I was going to bring the same thing.
Right.
That's good. But notice.
Oh shit.
But how you pause it too much?
No, that's all right. I was going to say something, but go ahead.
No, go ahead. You make
We
your
give
point first.
everybody a button.
Yeah, right. Just, no, go ahead.
So notice again, setting up the dynamic between Michael and Walt. He doesn't say, I'm going to get our dog. He says, your dog.
Right.
Kind of shows that Michael does not have a relationship with the dog. So if that dog is like the family dog, well, that's not what Michael would say. So
Yeah,
we're
because
kind
we
of-
have no backstory as to what happened to them at all.
we find out in the next episode.
yeah,
But we,
no,
yeah.
there's no, we don't know what their relationship.
Going back to the last episode, there was the conversation between Jack and Michael where Jack asked how old Walt is and Michael didn't know.
Right.
So they do a really good job of setting up so many reveals about these characters that are not what the expectation is. I'm gonna find your dog talking to no one
Good, I love
in
it.
the haunted damn jungle.
And then, of course, we know the scene's coming up next. Of course,
Yeah, you really thought there was going to be a lot more
the
to this,
infamous scene with
but it sets up tension that happens, and then it sets up
Lots of it.
It's definitely. Oh, there's the piano for like one of the first times.
hello.
So just like going back to the last episode where we talked about the I guess I'll just call them naked scenes. Like how Shannon had no shame. She was just laying in the middle of the beach like, I don't care who looks at me. Kate was very like was on the beach, very girl next door. Son, it's very clear is like, we're not supposed to be seeing this. And it's a super awkward conversation, and because like
When Jin came out right now, he would.
Oh my God.
Michael's dead.
He was worried about it. I didn't say anything. The crazy thing is like he just stayed there for.
I know he looks a few times.
Oh, yeah, he says a whistle, and then he says, I had written that down in my notes, how he played some tribal flutes once in a recording session. I'm in a band.
Yeah, because it just shows you the insecurity of Charlie. He mentions that he's in a band a lot, and I think it's because Kate recognized him from the band,
Yeah.
and that made him so happy. That was like the one time he really got like happy.
Yeah.
And so when he's not on his drugs, he's looking for that validation of the rock star, and it just
Well, here's the thing. He's on an island. Nobody knows that he's an addict. Kate's on an island that only a very few, if not anybody knows what she has
exactly.
done.
In a band.
Locke paying no mind to him. We know that Saeed is a soldier, and so he's seen death, and he's seen situations like this where someone is horribly injured and won't make it, and he kind of knows where it's going. Sawyer here, this speech to me, because he's telling her, oh, it's good that you got the gun and not me, because you got to do what's got to be done. I think it's two things. One, it's Sawyer being kind of flirty, and it's him showing like, hey, you and me are not that far different, right?
Yeah.
But it's also because we do find out that he does know. And so I think it's kind of his way of like edging Kate towards more of his side of that runaway life of crime type thing. And also we know that Sawyer is a con man. He likes to get in people's heads, and he does a really good job of that with Kate right here.
Yeah, he likes to manipulate situations.
But also he wants the gun back. And he knows that she's not going to do it. But he's like, I don't care. I'll do it. I already showed a
Well,
bullet.
they think there's only one bullet left, so what does he care if he has the gun back?
it's more of the symbolism, I think, of it. And it's not like, not everybody else knows that there's no bullets in it, right?
True that.
Saying no matter how she makes you feel was really important there.
Mm-hmm. Like, she's cute, I know, but...
So right there, he has said this whole episode, I don't care what she did, but he asked the marshal in private. He wouldn't ask Kate. He told Kate he doesn't care. He told Hurley he doesn't care, but he still asked the marshal because he's curious.
Well, not just that he's curious. The marshal just did a freaking 30-second soliloquies on don't trust her, she's bad. So even if he didn't care, I feel like he would say, wait, what?
Kate looking suspicious.
Well, she knows she can't go to Jack.
She can't go to Hurley.
Of course, and then we see here what happens to partially some of what Kate has done. As you can see, she...
Dude, you're the one who got the old man hurt, really.
Exactly.
It's her fault. Oh yeah, it is.
That's why she goes to the island.
Oh, to answer your earlier question, too, how she got to the island? The island brought her to the island.
No, how did she get to Australia?
The island brought her to Australia in order to get her to the island.
That's true.
You know.
Spoilers.
You know that I don't like that.
But duh.
I know. So, again, sympathy by proxy, it shows Kate that even though she did cause this accident, she could have just ran, but she wanted to save him. I love that she literally pulls his arm off.
Yeah.
But it was important for her, it was more important for her to save him than to get away. And it just kind of continues to go with Kate's character. It's like, okay, so she clearly cares about people.
And she had a favor. What was the favor?
On the plane.
Yeah.
Hank. His name is Hank.
That scene right there, the horn scared the shit out of me the first time. I was like, huh.
And he just says, hey, Kate.
Kate looking caught and hot at the same time.
How evil he looks.
He wanted to make sure that the guy got his 23.
The guy that turned her in got his $23,000.
Oh, humanizing her even more.
And she even says that you know, he had a heck of a mortgage, which is the thing that he kept
That's what
saying.
she says right now, yeah.
Which then all makes you believe maybe she's not that bad.
It's weird how much he trusts her.
I think he realizes that she's not really a bad... And deep down, he knows that she's not really a horrible person, but was caught up in bad situations.
Which I think is why he loves chasing her so much. And maybe it's kind of like a thing of like, he keeps letting her get away. Even though, like, and then eventually it's like, all right, like, we gotta...
We know just from the history of cop movies, television shows, and everything that dynamic is like, they're the same type of people, a cop and a criminal, just they use their powers differently.
So, Hurley knows that Kate's got the gun, Jack doesn't.
Yo.
Which Jack didn't know. Jack didn't know she had the gun. It's okay, he sees her, and then the look she gives Jack here is so good. And Sawyer, when he comes out of the tent, is so, like, it's very clear that Sawyer did not enjoy what he just did.
Yeah.
Even though he was talking a big game, and he's very emotional. And it just kind of shows you the human moment there with Sawyer of, like, even there, he says, I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, and you have no doubt that he was awake and he said, yes, do it. She can't do it. I need it done.
Well, they show the scene of him saying, like, when are you going to do it? But I thought that was such a brilliant... This was
That is
so...
so-
You see how scared Sawyer gets?
Yeah.
I love that, like, that look on Sawyer's face. This would be a great short to do, Cody. The look on Sawyer's face when he starts hearing the marshal's coughing.
Not just that, the response of Hurley, which was the response of everybody watching at home.
Oh yeah.
We were all like, no way.
Well, and now Jack has to do the inevitable dirty work here. And we're not really shown what he does, but
He's got to end it, and so that's what becomes so disappointing to him.
So there's another character that becomes the audience as well. And it happens in the next episode.
So right here you hear him.
So we technically have two characters that are the
Well, there's one that later on it becomes the...
No, there's one that it starts next episode.
So you're trying to light a cigarette while Jack's in there gagging him.
You know what I was
does he
thinking?
do?
I was thinking, walk over to the fucking fire, dude.
That's smart. So when Sawyer throws the lighter down, he does something that I think is brilliant for where his character goes. Right here. So watch, he's gonna try to light his cigarette, but it won't light.
while Jack is gagging.
Yes. And then when he throws it, what does he do? Watch, he looks down, and he puts his hands in his pockets, and he feels something in his left pocket. It's his letter, because his letter is what reminds him of who he is. And so it's almost like he's punishing himself.
I never even thought about that, but that's a good, I like that.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's pretty clear right there that Jack had to do something. And Sawyer, now it's Sawyer's turn. He can't look Jack in the eye.
Well, now
And you understand why.
he now has
Because he understands that Jack is willing to do what he has to do in those heated moments.
Yeah.
Sawyer now has a different level of respect for
It's
Jack.
kind of like I tried to handle that situation and I failed, but Jack handled it. And so but if you just, the way that Sawyer's just looking down, he won't look at Jack, and it's because he's ashamed. He's ashamed of what he just did. And Jack is, at the same time, pretty disgusted with Sawyer, which I think is good for their dynamic.
So enter the moment of levity.
So now we find Vincent.
And we know that it was a dog whistle that he was.
It was a dog whistle that he was building. Enter the song cue of the happy song that we see a little bit of a moment here for a little while at the end of this episode. There's something I want to point out.
So I like the fact that he goes to him to give him the dog to give to him. And it goes back to the clean slate thing. It's like he's trying to give Michael a way to have a clean slate.
100%.
And the thing is, what is great about it is John Locke. That, like, we know that character comes from the philosopher. But that philosopher, one of his beliefs was that he argued that at birth, that a mind is a blank slate that we fill with ideas and experiences with all our five senses. So basically, it's like, that's what's happening here on the island. It's like, everything you've learned, everything you know, it's great, but this is a whole new experience.
And John Locke, the philosopher, was one of the first people that was like really into like individual human rights and that kind of thing. And so he said everyone is entitled to
free will,
life,
and,
liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right?
Yep.
So right here, she goes, I want to tell you, but now is when he says, I don't want to know. But he clearly did want to know. He just wants, it's very clear that I think just Jack enjoys the power dynamic between them, and he's showing that right now. But I do think that he tells her what she needs to hear here when he says, 3 days ago we all died, we should all be able to start over.
Leaning into what you're talking about.
Yeah, but don't you think that also him having to do what he just did could have changed him
100%,
in some way?
100%.
Or you just don't feel that Jack can grow as a human being?
I do feel Jack can grow as a human being.
Okay, I'm just checking.
I just think that the ways that he grows are usually very selfish in nature. Okay.
This song right here,
This is the song.
this is one of my favorite songs.
It's really good.
Not only from the series, but it became one of my favorite songs ever. And just like the lyrics, I've got problems, I've got troubles, but not today. They're gonna wash away. Yeah, your problems are gone.
Your problems are gone.
You're wanted by the marshal, but Marshall's dead. But even if he was alive, you're stuck on an island.
Your son
Everything.
doesn't like you.
Your son doesn't like you, but now you've got to rebuild. You've got the dog back for him, and now here's your chance to fix whatever relationship you had. Jin and son, like, we know something's up with you guys. We're not sure, but like, there's obviously tension there. Here's your time to work on that tension.
There's a little moment of I'm still looking out for you.
I still love her. I still love her.
Yeah. Well, he knows. He knew. He's like,
Her son.
whoever says I had no idea this was coming in a relationship, they just need to sit down, have a cup of coffee, and think about it for a minute, and they'll realize, oh yeah, I saw this coming. I was just too blind at the time.
Speaking of blind, Boone gives Shannon some glasses. And
That relationship.
there's a fun little scene there, which I think would probably go back to what you were saying earlier about the whole like respect thing, is that Saeed does do a nice thing for Sawyer, and he gives him, as Sawyer's looking at his letter,
yeah.
he gives him a piece of fruit. So I thought that was a nice scene of Saeed. A little bit of solidarity, a little bit of
Solidarity, an olive branch, if you will.
I think it's very much Saeed being the bigger person.
So,
But what I find interesting about this scene the most that I wanted to point out is it's going to happen here in just a couple seconds, where we cut to Locke, and when we cut to Locke, it's that kind of 180 shot of the camera where it turns around and the music changes, and it's the contrast, you know, like all these moments of levity and all right, we're starting over, we're doing what we have to do, good things are happening at this moment, but
Yeah.
don't count your cards too quick, because
because the end of this parallels the end of, or mirrors, however you want to say it, the end of the last episode.
And
where he's talking about light and dark.
yeah.
Like, in here you're seeing the light, but then there's that stop, like you're saying, all of a sudden everything
It
kind of
goes
changes.
from what I think is probably the first very heartwarming scene of the show, with Vincent coming back to Walt.
slow-mo
And it's kind of the first time that you see Walt smiling, and you see Michael smiling because Walt's smiling.
would
and-
knock off in the distance, though,
Exactly.
carrying on like a creeper.
Yeah, like the fucking guy who saw his bicycles on a different strokes.
I think what this is to me,
Beautiful shot.
beautiful.
I paused this. I told him on the way here, I paused this last night and just, it's his new nickname, by the way.
Pause it.
Pause Patrol.
Pause Patrol. There's a lot of scenes I want to talk about. I'm sorry. I like that.
Go ahead.
What this is doing for me is this is the writers and the producers telling you the next episode's going to be about Locke.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's their way of being like, all right, well, we've set up all these mysteries about this
Kind of how,
guy.
like, at the beginning, the eye opens.
Yeah.
Is it, so at the end of the
Well-
episode, the eye.
And just like how in the end of the pilot was them revealing doing the Kate reveal, which tells you
that from-
the next episode's going to be about Kate.
If you were to rate this episode out of 5 stars,
I thought we did it out of 10.
or that's right.
So I have the pilot like a 9.7 or something like that. So for me, I don't think this episode's as good as the pilot.
No.
And I don't think this episode is as good as episode 4.
No.
So I'm going to give it what might be considered a little bit of a harsh rating, but with that being said, I do think it's a good episode for establishing Kate's character, and it sets up more about Locke. I'm going to give it a 7.4.
Okay.
Look at my hands.
I don't think that's necessarily too harsh. You're saying 7 as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's good. I don't think it's a great episode.
But it's like it's a good episode because like it definitely, you're like, okay, all right, I need to watch the
On
next
the
one.
general arc of the whole show, I would put it at like a 7.9 because I don't want to give it an 8 completely, but like a 7.8 something, because it is a really strong episode that does set you up and is still keeping your interest enough. We're going to get to the next episode here, Walkabout, where
Everything changes.
I think the things that annoyed me are things that shouldn't annoy me, which is the fucking marshal. Like, you were the one who caused the damage to Hank.
He was.
Like, I don't care.
Because
Why
he
did
had
you
to
pull
brag.
up? Yeah,
He
you
had to
had to
brag.
come up and, like, what the fuck?
Why did he
dude?
even have to go to Australia?
Like, it's like the scene when you're watching, like, Die Hard and the bad guy's got to give the soliloquy before he kills his little, even so you know the good guy's gonna win. Or in wrestling when the bad guy's like got to say that one extra thing before he hits him with the chair and gives enough time for something to happen.
Just like, that one's on you, Pop.
Yeah.
Great.